let's take a look at another one. I noticed that there are a couple of pieces that are already factored, the denominator of my first expression, the numerator of my second one. However, I need to factor these quadratics. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to take this first one and come down here, and in green, I'm going to factor it. So I need -3, because 1 times -3 is -3, and I want to add to -2. And so my bigger number needs to be negative. Well, -3 only has 2 factors, or one pair of factors, a 1 and a 3, and the 3 would need to be negative. And so that one better work, and sure enough it does. 1 plus -3 equals -2. So I can go ahead and fill in my x puzzle with a -3 and a 1, and fill that in my box. X squared, -3, I need a -3x and a 1. GCF, x and 1. And then x squared and 1x will be an x. -3x and -3 will be a -3. Remember that the negative sign comes because this box has a negative, so this has to have a negative right next to it. So my factors will be x plus 1 and x minus 3. So that takes care of this one. Now I need to take care of this one, and so I'm going to come down to the bottom, and let's make this one pink so that we can kind of tell the difference. So here I'm going to deal with this one. I'll have a -21, a 4 as my b value. So I'm looking for factors of -21 that add to a +4. Positive when adding means that my bigger number needs to be positive. So I'll have 1, or a -1, and a +21. 2 won't go in. Let's see, 3, or a -3, and a 7. And those are the factors that are going to add to 4. So 7 and -3, and let's fill in our box. I have x squared and -21, and then I want to fill in with a 7x and a -3x. GCF, one more time, I have an x squared and a 7x, which will be an x. -3x and -21, that'll be a -3. X squared and a -3x will give me an x, and then 7x and a -21, that'll be a 7. My factored form becomes x plus 7 and x minus 3. All right, so now I have everything factored here, and I want to go ahead and rewrite this, putting in the factored form here, and then some of this was already factored. So let's go ahead and do that. From the green, I can do a numerator here. I had x plus 1 and x minus 3. I already had the bottom factored, and it was x minus 1 and x plus 1. I want to multiply that by the already factored numerator of x minus 9 and x plus 7. And then in the denominator, I have what I just did in pink, x plus 7 and x minus 3. All right, let's start crossing things out that are the same. I see that I have an x plus 1 in the top and the bottom. I see an x minus 3 here and over here. X plus 7, top and bottom. And let's see, the only thing I have left in the top is an x minus 9, and in the bottom an x minus 1. So those don't match, and I'm done. X minus 9 over x minus 1. Now let's talk about our restrictions, our excluded values. What can x not equal because it would cause it to be 0? I crossed out an x plus 1. I don't see that anymore. So if I plugged in a -1 for x, I would get a 0. So x cannot be -1. If I plugged in a -7 here, this would be 0. So x cannot be -7. And then finally, if I plugged in a +3, 3 minus 3 would also give me 0, so I can't have that. So I cannot have a positive 3.